international, working in 9 African countries. And first and foremost, this is a very strong topic for Nigeria, especially at this time of our country in the world order. The importance of this is so strong in view of the Boko Haram incursion itself, and the main driver behind it is education being bad. Now, looking at all knowledge, 2 weeks ago I was at the conference of the UNGA, and it was really shocking seeing statistics thrown out, looking at the future not only of countries like Nigeria, but looking at the future of where African states are going and what the next drivers of growth will be in these economies. And the first pointer was education. The second pointer was health care. Now, I'm stunned because you turn back, sitting where I sit as an entrepreneur, you're thinking it's more infrastructure, power, and that kind of stuff. But looking at this pointer, I started thinking, if we could correct, just by an annual growth of 5%, the educational infrastructure decay on the continent, and putting that driver as a growth spurt on the continent, we'll see the difference. Now, taking that into Nigeria, northern Nigeria is a very peculiar problem. I grew up there. My father was a police commissioner in Bauchi State. So growing up in Bauchi, seeing what was and what is today is shocking. But there is a serious structural problem, and that defect is from government. One, if you have leaders whose main prognosis around doing anything is doing nothing, then we have a problem. So, you see, irrespective of what numbers we spew out, how much will we have, if the government, the people that design the rules and regulation for engagement within the societies are not knowledgeable enough or being made to account in making sure that girl education or education in itself is important as water, more important than good roads, then we are not starting anything. As a company on a corporate level, I sit on the board of several schools. The Adopt a School program, I think, is phenomenal. But we have problems. I turn up in a state, we want to sponsor a school, and believe you me, we engage. The structure in itself is we come into a state and say, look, we've identified 2 schools, girls' schools, we want to refurbish the school. Some of the schools have no window, no running water, no electricity. We want to do this basic thing. Believe you me, the principal of that school has no right to commit. So we have to write to the State Commission of Education, who in turn takes 3 months to respond. Then they refer you to the permanent secretary, another 3 months. So believe you me, if you look at your annual budget in this, you have to return the money or do it something else. So the problem we need to try and direct the outcome is making sure government and governance, there's accountability to making sure this is a very important topic that needs to be dealt with from that angle. Because if there is, then you find out private sector money's there trying to do good. Because, you see, the government is actually introducing where you get a tax write-off for this spend. So it's not a problem. But if it takes 9 months to get a response from a school in trying to do good, then there is a functionality problem. This is one area that I would like us to see if it's an outcome of what we get from here, where government sees this as important a directive to the local government, to the state governments. That's one big win for this. Another big area that we need to think about is this. There is so much talk around Africa, around Nigeria, of formal education. Yes, it's important. I think a bigger importance today is the informal vocational education in our societies. Because you already have huge numbers of children who have not even gone to school, who have now crossed that barrier of the age of 16, 17, 18. What do you do with those? If we start educating the 3, 4, 5-year-olds today, you've got a whole generation of people, what I call the missing middle. What we need to do is focus that diverse position on sitting girls, vocational education, sewing, plumbers, electricians. If we could do that, we would create another huge working class in our economies and our societies. For me, looking at what you're doing, Toyin, I'm extremely impressed, because it's important when people take it upon themselves to see if we can make a difference on our continent. It's important, but because the world is out there listening, people are watching, and there's a lot of pockets of capital out there trying to make change and do good, but the most important thing is, who are these drivers of change? And I thank you. Continue doing what you're doing.